New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring. New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
Welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Your hosts are two girls who believe that life is awesome, that laughter heals, and that it's possible to find deep spiritual insights in everyday experience.
Here come the girls. It's more than practical. Here come the girls. Way more than merely factual. If you want to know the secrets of a life that's free, listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically.
Hello, 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 and welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. I am Robyn Rice Olmsted.
I'm Dr. Natashe Wilson. And like Robyn said, we're Girls Behaving Metaphysically all the way over here in Australia, which I guess is down here.
Down under.
Down under. I'm from down under.
Yep. And I'm here in the hot time in the city of Albuquerque. That's where I am. It's so hot. It's just hot. But it's good. I'm not complaining. Welcome to everybody out there. Welcome to Unity Church in Pontiac. Thank you for being here. Thank you for liking us. We love it when you like and subscribe and visit us every week. And it's just so great to have everybody here. Today, we are talking about hidden in plain sight. Where is it that you dim your light in this world where there's just so much going on? So we're just talking about the ways we show up and without really showing up, and then we speak without always saying the truth, or what would happen if we finally stop hiding and we let our light shine. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to get serious and visible and dive into this deep topic after we chit chat for a minute, and then of course do our card pull of the week, because I know everybody is waiting to find out what does this week hold for them. So how's your week been? Well, gosh, after last week, we all want to know about cocktails with your friends.
Well, that was great. And I have a pubescent, what the hell is it called? I have a child going through puberty.
Prepubescent.
Yeah, but I guess it's already started, so it's not pre anymore. So honestly, Robyn, this week was one of those weeks where I was like, it is incredible that the human species has continued for as long as we have. Like, just unreal.
Yeah.
Just like, oh my God, it's like overnight she's like my butterfly princess. And then now she's like,
whatever.
call me by my first name. I was like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like one day they're your little baby and they're just so sweet and so cute. And then the next day they're like, whatever, mom. I need my space. It's like,
look, that would be one thing, needing space. Look, I need space. We all need space. But like this, Lord, she called on all my Black ancestors in me this week. I mean, I was like, who are you? Who are you first? And then who are you talking to? It's been a doozy. So I'm just being real. Like, oh my God.
It's a journey. It's a journey. I mean, I warned you. I warned you earlier, but like one of my friends said, this was about marriage, but it applies to kids too. It's like, why didn't anyone tell me? And it's like, there's only so much you can say because you don't. It's first of all, it's an individualized experience. However, there's nothing you can say that people will really understand until you go through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Look, I knew I was present for the birth of one of my really good friends' child. And I remember that. Like I was in my late 20s or maybe early 30s. I don't remember. But I remember just being there with her. And I asked this very same question. It is incredible that the human species continues. I remember asking that question, seeing how much my friend was suffering in this process of giving birth. Like, I was just like, this is not my path. I am so clear. But oh my God, I have not uttered that word, like that phrase, as much as I have this past week. I am so surprised that the human species has continued to survive.
Yeah, I get that. Well, so we'll be hearing more about that, I guess, throughout the next few months, years to come.
Oh,
yeah, God. It's a journey. It's a bit, and at the end of the day, maybe not the same day, but the end of the evolutionary day, there's so much beauty and laughter and good that will, prevail from it all. So
let's see, girl. For me, the jury is still out. Right now, the jury is out.
Yep. Then that means you're right in the right place. So okay. So that explains your week. So
what about
you? My week is good. It's good. I feel, like I said, I think last week, I feel like there's a shift. I feel like there's more clarity around everything I choose to do and everything I'm not choosing to do. And, nothing feels particularly personal. It feels like, okay, this is good. This is good. Not doing that. Don't have time for that. And it's not personal. And while generally I strive to let go of things and doing things in my life, because that's the way my life is, it's just ridiculously busy. I feel like on one level I've taken on more and I'm not feeling stressed out about it. I'm just super clear that what I can and can't do around it. Mm-hmm. So it's good. It's all good. It's good.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
There is no hiding.
I like your hair today. Can I say that?
Really? Sure.
What did you do? Did you cut it or style it or something?
No.
No?
I took it out of the ponytail and because it's been there so long, it's like kind of straight. I mean, in a not straight white girl straight, but in a
no, it just looks nice. I thought you did something, but that makes sense. You take it out of a ponytail, kind of keeps the shape, so it just looks nice. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I think let's go to our card pool of the week then. I just want to say last week we pulled Loving from the Inside.
Yes.
And I feel like I'm shuffling while I talk, so feel free.
Oh,
to
so you do have the cards. Okay.
I do. So we picked loving from the inside, and I feel like even what you talked about and what I talked about, I feel like that's where we have to pull from. You know, in these times of, you know, pre whatever teenagers, and you know, just the life of busyness. So I think it's a good card to remember that it's an inside job. Feel free to stop me whenever you want.
All right. Stop.
All right. Surrendering.
Mm.
It's like, oh yeah, I love it when that happens. Surrendering.
Mm-hmm.
I honor the truth and surrender as it opens me to gifts of divine grace. Okay. Gifts of divine grace. And it says, as I surrender, I release the urge to fight, push, and resist. And I open myself to the design and wisdom of the universe. My surrender holds truth and dignity. It holds an inner knowing that everything will be okay. Relief washes over me when I accept things just as they are, knowing that change is just around the corner. My true path shimmers before me when I relinquish control of what I should be doing and where I should be going. My surrender is not an act of defeat or a denial of my needs, but an act of healing and an opening to divine grace. This grace bestows many gifts: joy, patience, compassion, strength, courage, and of course, a stronger connection to the limitless flow of love. Well, I feel like that's right in line with our topic on some level, because when we surrender to the truth of who we are, that's when we can fully show up.
Yeah.
You have any other thoughts on that?
I don't like to surrender.
Understood.
It's an ongoing battle. I do surrender, you know, like I try to prescribe to this reality that everything I want is downstream. I don't have to pedal up. I don't have to swim upstream. I can let the current of the river that is life carry me, and I can float downstream. But it's usually after I'm tired from swimming upstream that I actually surrender.
Yeah, I get that.
Like it. But it feels better. I will say that in the end. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, I think I've gotten much better at surrender. And you know, so what comes to me in surrender is I have a lot of conversations with spirit, God, the divine, the universe, whatever, because I do tend to listen, you know, and when I listen, I don't always like what I hear. And so it comes up for me, especially like when I'm going to pray or when I'm in a session with a client and spirit says, okay, say this, you know, or puts this thought in my head, and I'm like, that is so whack. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about. And I have to have this conversation. I'm like, no, I'm not saying that. Yeah, say that. I'm like, no, I'm not, you know, and I go back and forth a lot. And then, of course, I say it. I surrender. And, you know, at the end, they're like, oh my God, I couldn't believe that you said, put the turkey in the oven or whatever the heck I said. I was, you know, Thanksgiving was like this, and this is when that happened, and whatever happened. And I'm like, I mean, it never fails, you know? I mean, yeah, so I mean, okay, I just have to tell you guys a story because this is, You guys will appreciate this, as will our producer, Michael Mangus. So at the end of service, Gil has two practitioners come up and pray that have been in service, holding vigil or doing whatever they're doing. And so there was this Sunday where he called up somebody else when I was holding vigil. I was like, that's weird, because I had already heard in my head that I was going to pray. And I was like, okay. And so I wasn't going to take it personally. And then he looks over and he goes, do you want to pray? And I was like, no, there's too many people, because I didn't want it to be like really long. And everybody goes, yes, you. I go, okay. So I get up there, and for those of you that don't know, I'll just speak for myself as a practitioner, it's not like I plan my prayers. I don't think about what I'm going to say.
Uh-oh. I don't have a connection all of a sudden. Hello? Hello?
Hello.
What happened?
I don't know. She's frozen. Hopefully that she will unfreeze.
Oh. Robyn, you're frozen. If you can hear us, you're frozen.
You are frozen, my dear.
Come back. Come back.
I was laughing earlier when you were talking about the your daughter, and I was going, well, I know a good exorcist.
Can you please send me their information like right away? Because honestly, I don't know what's happening with my child. I know people say it's cute. Oh, hang on a second. Hang on. Sorry. Turn that phone off. Give me a second. Let me turn that off. Okay. I don't know what's happening with my child.
Well, it's either puberty or demon possession.
Well, we are going to therapy today, so that's that. So that has to count for something.
Okay. Well, I think. We are getting a call here.
Okay.
Hold on here.
Okay.
Hello, caller. Oh, you just had a power outage.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. All right, really good. Oh, we're talking.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Yeah, I think that's the challenging part about with kids is that, and then as much as they'll say, well, I never, you're so old fashioned, blah, blah, blah. They're listening. All the time they're listening. And that, the whole idea of, making sense in the world. Yeah, I laughed when you guys pulled the card surrender.
I have a very tenuous experience with surrender.
Well, my experience with surrender on a spiritual level is that it's a necessary part.
Absolutely.
It's that what I do is, again, surrender the outcome, surrender my life, my being, and just know that, and become God-centered, life-centered, spirit-centered. And that, for me, it makes a whole lot more sense. It's not, you're not surrendering to, like, if you're in battle, you have the white flag. Now, well, in some instances, yes, you are surrendering. You're surrendering to doing things your own way, and that's fine. But there's, again, when you allow spirit or life, which has always been there, to start leading you and guiding you and directing you and opening doors for you, then it's a really, I don't know, for me, it's just a wonderful experience. So that's me. So
no, even though Michael, when I said earlier, like, I have struggled with surrender. I understand where that comes from, right? Like, and eventually I also always not get there, but avail myself to it, right? Beyond my ego self, eventually. And more as I get older, right? What I realize is like surrender is like a necessary component of a spiritual life.
Right.
And what I also know is a necessary component for at least my spiritual life is this honesty with myself and with my patterns and with how I'm wired. And I know based on my own history of trauma and other things, surrender has become a very complicated concept. And
okay, go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, we have contacted New Mexico. Come in, New Mexico. Are you there?
Yes.
Is the power back? Is the power on?
Power came back in like 1 minute. It was getting, starting all over.
Restarting. Yeah. The internet.
So maybe I wasn't meant to tell that story.
Yeah, maybe.
Is that a sign?
No, I think you just had to surrender to the electricity company.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't think anybody who's watching now was here then, but I'll start this story over again. We were talking about. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, listening.
Listening. Well, you were talking about listening. Then Michael and I, while you were away, started talking about surrender as sort of a requisite, or like spiritual. It's almost like a requisite for spiritual life. And yeah, I was just going on about how it has not always been one of the easiest of mine. Yeah.
So surrendering. So my point was surrendering. And so what happens was I get called up to pray, and we're talking about listening and how often like I hear Spirit say this, and I'm like, I'm not saying that. Or Spirit will say to me, pray in Spanish. I'm like, I'm not praying in Spanish today. that one happened last week. It was like, pray in Spanish. I was like, no. And I quickly assessed in my head, like, who was out there that would understand me and how, like, fluid I had to be in terms of like, because it's an interesting thing, even when you're bilingual, to do it in a different language than you're used to praying, And so I like assessed who was out there, and I was like, okay, so-and-so's not there, so that's okay. I can do it. And so-and-so's there and he's supportive, so it's okay. And I prayed in Spanish. And then of course, when I opened my eyes, I realized so many more people were there that understood Spanish than I had accounted for. But what I realized is from that experience, and that's not the story I was telling, but what I realized from that experience is that, what I was listening to was Spirit saying, people need to hear it. And I realized people need to, what we always realize, that you're saying something someone needs to hear, but when I surrendered to that, like it wakes people up in a different way.
Yeah.
But the one I was going to tell you that was really funny, that I thought you and Michael would like, is that, so I go up and I'm praying, and like I was saying before, we don't know what we're going to say. I don't know what I'm going to say. I just allow Spirit to speak through me. And as I'm getting ready to speak, although I hear it first, and so sometimes I'm like, no way, stop it. I'm not, And I'm having that moment, and literally out of my mouth, y'all, I said something about something, stepping into something. And then I was like, well, can the church hear me? Can I get an amen? I was like, whoa, whatever it was. I was like, okay, that really wasn't me. I'm like, all of a sudden I turned into like this holy roller, Baptist minister.
Holy roller.
Hello, can the church speak up? And again, I think it was really about waking up, because everybody, of course, like first they were like, yeah. And I was like, I can't hear you, and they're like, yeah. And then everybody was in it. But, I think sometimes that's my job, is I say what I'm thinking, which generally wakes someone up because it's not in line with what they're thinking or the norm that they're expecting. So those are my surrender stories. It was pretty funny for me anyway.
They are.
Can I get a little something from the church? So that's what I said. I was like, oh God. And afterwards I'm thinking, oh, don't anyone talk to me. I'm like, don't even want them to look at me. And they're like, I love it when you pray. I'm like, great.
Yeah. Robyn, there's been times I literally just called you, be like, Robyn, can you pray? Can you just pray for the way you're praying? I wish we integrated your prayers into our show somehow so that people could have that experience, because we all have our what I think are our natural gifts and talents and skills that we give to the world. And the way that you're both an artist and a spiritual practitioner comes out in how you pray. And you know how when you're an artist, I'm a dancer, right? And so when I dance, I'm not good at choreography at all. So let me just name that. And when I have a really beautiful tango or a really beautiful kizomba, which is not the same as Zumba, people. Kizomba is a dance that originates in Angola and has many of the elements of tango, but you get to use your hips, and it's a partner dance. And when I am having those dances, they feel like prayers when I'm
absolutely
deep, right? So whatever that is that you tap into, that rises up in you when you pray, is just one of the most beautiful things that I've had the opportunity to experience.
Yeah. Thank you. And it's really interesting that you say that about dance and the kizomba and all of that, because what's been coming up for me, and of course I was talking about it today because someone else brought it up, something similar, a need, and is I really want to teach a prayer class that's a somatic movement prayer class, so where you really feel every step, because I feel like sometimes people just aren't integrated in their body. And which is so related to dance, right? I just feel like it's so important when we start to speak the word. And it doesn't matter, y'all that are listening, if you study prayer, if you know the 5 steps or the 6 steps, depending on where you're studying from, or if you are praying, however you pray is okay. Our thoughts are our prayers. However you pray, however you affirm what you are wanting in your life, it's having it be integrated in your body like that, and knowing it in every cell and fiber of your being.
Yeah.
So I think God's trying to tell me something, because it's come up 5 times this week. So
okay, so just so you know, I just finished a refresher course on somatic therapy. Okay, I just finished a refresher because I am a somatic therapist, and I do integrate movement and dance in the work that I do as a therapist. So I'm just saying, if we want to do something, let's have another chat.
Okay, let's have another chat. But it's not going to be here, and it's not going to be now. So we're going to go to a commercial break. And when we come back, we're talking about hidden in plain sight. What are the ways we keep ourselves from showing up? They're the ways that we hide and try to dim our light. So think about that. And when we come back, we'll dive in. We'd love to have you join us in conversation right here on New Thought Media Network.
Please help us say thank you to all of our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Center for Spiritual Living United Life, Sunshine Cathedral, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Universal Joy Center, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Home Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. On behalf of New Thought Media Network, thank you, and please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, come be you.
The Heal Your Life Workshop Leader and Life Coach Certification Training, approved personally by Louise Hay, is coming to San Diego. Facilitated by expert trainers Anna Milkick and Christy Dixon. This 3-month training includes multiple sessions on Zoom and 10 days in beautiful San Diego. It will change your life and enable you to help others transform their lives.
Welcome to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Your hosts are two girls who believe that life is awesome, that laughter heals, and that it's possible to find deep spiritual insights in everyday experience.
Here come the girls. It's more than practical. Here come the girls. Way more than merely factual. If you want to know the secrets of a life that's free, listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. Listen to Girls Behaving Metaphysically.
Hello and welcome back to Girls Behaving Metaphysically. I appear to be one girl, but I know I will be two at some point soon.
I have no idea what happened. Oh, there she is.
This is quite the technical day.
I know. Well, I'm really lucky because I have the technical expertise and to fix anything. And if I can't do it that way, then I have duct tape.
A very important tool.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Australia, the Dr. Natashe.
Okay, well, I hear that Mercury's coming out of retrograde, so
Yeah.
perhaps this is going to get better. But for right now, here we are. I'm Robyn Rice Olmsted.
Dr.
This-
Natashe Wilson.
She's Dr. Natashe Wilson. That's who she is. You have discovered it here. And today we're talking about hidden in plain sight. Where is it that we hide? All the ways we show up and the ways we may not speak our truth, the entire truth, nothing but the truth, or the ways we enter a room and try not to be seen or dim our light. And why do we do it? What are we afraid of? And what would happen if we finally stepped out into all of who we really are? So, as we explore that, feel free to put your thoughts, questions, ideas in the chat. Let us know you're here. We would love to hear from you. So let's just start with, I don't know. How do you feel? Is there anywhere you feel like you hide your light?
It's really interesting that part of what I'm, thinking about exploring as I choose which program or which track of the like the ministry program. There is the one that involves creative expression, right, in ministry. And one of the places where I really feel my light is when I'm dancing. And it's also a place where I've also dimmed my light. Yeah. Even though I don't think what whirling dervishes, like what they do is technically dance, but it is somatic prayer. And the first time I had my experience with them, they came to do a workshop when I was a student at the Chaplaincy Institute of Maine. And I had that experience with them, right? Learning the technique and then moving into it. It was, how most spiritual insights, they're just like really subtle and small, right?
Yeah, I get it.
They're like the really big ones, right?
Yeah.
That I feel like those aren't like the norm for me. But as I was doing the technique and I was whirling and I had, my eyes are open, I'm doing the whirling. At some point, everyone in the workshop, I swear, they just all transformed into points of light during that whirl. It was like literally I was just in a universe of light. And at some point, everyone had sat down, they were done whirling, and there I was still going and going and going. And then when I finally stopped, my prayer, the gratitude, whatever it was like, it was so profound. Like it has stayed with me. And so I have always been like, the body for me has to be integrated into how I communicate with whatever it is the divine in me, through me, that I'm in, that is in me, and that I like. Movement is a part of that, and it has never left me. And me, of course, I was like, I gotta figure out how to get to Turkey so I can go study with the whirling dervishes.
Yes, that does sound like you. You are absolutely correct.
But I was in the middle of like 2 graduate programs, so it wouldn't have worked. So, but it was amazing. And so when, coming back to like shining your light, there's just this thing, like we are light. And yeah, where I've shined it, I feel sometimes the most, and where I've dimmed it the most has been in the same space.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think for me, I think that I've dimmed it the most really in my voice. I think there's so many ways that we can hide, whether that's shrinking our voice or downplaying our opinions or our brilliance, or staying quiet to keep the peace, those kind of things, pretending you're okay when you're really not okay. And I think for me, of those things, like one of the main things is I think mine's about finding my voice, which would make perfect sense since I'm an actor, a writer, a creative, and that's what I do, but I do it as a different character. I find my voice as a character. I write my voice as a screenplay. So my voice, I think I downplay it a lot. I think, I find myself in different, or in the past, I've found myself in different meetings and places where, I don't know, maybe y'all can relate to this, but where I'm sitting there with my thought and my opinion, thinking, oh, it's okay, somebody else will say it. Somebody else will do it. And sometimes somebody does. And, sometimes I do. And then people go, oh, yeah, and act like it's revolutionary. And I think, what? I didn't really say anything important. Like I have this, the critic says, and when in fact, it was important, to somebody. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, I mean, I think that's where my light gets dimmed the most, is just in shrinking my voice.
Which is also, I find really interesting, because like one of the things that I've absolutely come to love about knowing you is that I know if I call you up and I'm like, Robyn, I need one of your magic prayers, right? Right, that comes through your voice. It
Mhm.
is your voice. And it's interesting because it's your voice that you lend to spirit. It's your voice that you lend to the characters. And it's also the place where you shrink yourself. So I feel like in so many ways, the way when I shine, it's through movement and dance. And yet it's also the place where find I shrink.
Right.
I
Right.
just find
And I
it
think that,
interesting.
yeah, let us know if we're making sense to anybody out there, because I feel like, yes, I feel like it's a universal thing. I feel it's a both and, right?
Mhm,
On
mm,
some level.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I mean, and so what's the fear behind that? Because,
Mm.
fear of judgment, being misunderstood,
I,
being too much,
yeah, for me, it's definitely what you just said, that last one,
too
uh,
much.
being too much. And it's not, the fact is that has been communicated to me in not so subtle ways, right? From other dancers and other people. And yeah, that's a hard thing to hear. Um, when it comes to how we just naturally express. Um, yeah, in no uncertain terms, I've been in um, situations as a dancer where people who are senior teachers, very much like wanted to put me in my place, right? Even though, some of this dance, these dance styles that I tend to excel at, are I excel at them in part because, well, I kind of grew up dancing this way in some
Mm.
ways. Also, I'm a beautiful Black woman, and there are not a lot of like Black women who occupy these leadership spaces in these kinds of dances. And yeah, and I'm not shy about my beauty the way I used to be. Um,
I
because,
remember those days.
yeah, like I grew up with people calling me straight up ugly. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And just about all of that was connected to the color of my skin, or at least the hue of my skin, right? Amongst other Black people. And yeah, it's not that I still have a modeling job at the end of the month, right? It's not that, like, I've come home to my own beauty, And so one of the other things is, yeah, I think I don't shrink anymore as a dancer, and it still remains a place where I feel the most vulnerable
Yeah.
and most prone to shrink.
Yeah. And I think what's interesting is that you're calling yours, or titling yours, the fear of being too much. And I think mine is the fear of not being enough,
Mm,
you know,
yeah,
thinking, oh, yeah, no, it's somebody else will say it. They'll say it better, blah, 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 blah.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's really interesting. I think that when we look at shrinking or hiding or visibility, like what are, how do we move into a space of being able to be all of who we are?
Yeah. I don't know, Robyn. I actually think it's just a process that happens like moment by moment by moment every time we choose ourselves, and every time we interrupt the shrinking when we
Hit the
notice it.
pattern.
Yeah,
Right.
I think it starts to become like muscle memory in some ways. I know I told you at some point I really want to do a show on the divinity of beauty. And because one of the ways, like when I started healing from believing that what I call God is this like anthropomorphic being in the sky. I don't know why. And it was a he in the sky. And for a long time, it was like white, almost like Santa in the sky, right? That was like, who's like looking over me and judging me and all that stuff. When I started to heal from that experience of the divine, the ways I started to experience what I now feel as the divine in, through, and as me, and I'm in it, has been through beauty, has been through art, has been through listening to trees and mountains, right? Like, so I experienced the divine in what I consider beauty. And I really think sometimes beauty gets very bastardized in our culture, right? And beauty is an expression of divinity. And so I feel like every single time I let myself feel the beauty that I am, like that I am, not perfect, right? Like the beauty that I am, right? The same person who's like, I don't know who my child has turned into, and somehow I still love her. There's something beautiful about that, right? Not perfect. But every time I allow that, I practice the principles that matter the most to me in my life, right? Peace, beauty, joy,
Right.
love. I shrink less and less, but it doesn't mean it doesn't keep coming up for me. It does. And I feel like that's okay.
Yeah, and I think what you're speaking to is and when we've spoken to this before in different aspects, but this sorry, visibility is really a spiritual practice. And as you were talking about, your passions, I'm thinking that your passions and being seen, that activates your purpose. And when we're practicing the presence in harmony with your purpose, that's going to obviously, speaking metaphysically, it's going to higher your vibration, right? Where hiding lowers your vibration. When we start to find ourselves going into that place of like, not me, I'm not the one, and all the what we're not and less than things that come up. Whereas when you're dancing, you're living, you're giving glory to God, so to speak. You're letting out that energy. You know what I mean? And so I think like everything, it's a practice. Like you just, we're describing. Every time you do it, it gets a little easier. It gets a little more, systematic in you. You're
right.
able to embody it. So then the question becomes, what are we waiting for? How do we make that leap, to come out of the darkness, so to speak?
I wonder, like, I guess I'm just thinking about the framing, because I don't know about everybody else, but like a couple things happened when I entered menopause. One was that I can't mask like I used to. The second is there's something about being yourself, right? Like I think is deeply connected to that. And I think about your voicemail, Robyn. I'm sorry, I know. Your voicemail, which is like, no one can be you better than you. And when we think about it, like, that's what we're here to do. Like, and that can be an ongoing journey, and one that we can live a bit more intentionally, right? So like, just thinking about like practical steps people can take. I think there's something deep about asking, who am I at this current iteration of my own journey? And what does it look like for me to live through the principle that most resonates with me right now? And I told you right now, the principle that most resonates with me are the two, are peace and beauty. So for me, how do I live a beautiful life? How do I live a peaceful life? How do I, I don't know if there was this sermon, and I don't remember who I heard it from, but I know it was a New Thought person. But they were talking about like this notion of serving God, but like not like worshiping something outside yourself, but sort of like tapping into the divine that is you, that is here to discover itself as you, and then serving that up everywhere you go, right? And I sort of think of it like that, right? So like, wherever you are in your spiritual journey, whatever is resonating most for you at that time, like, what would it look like to serve that version of God that is asking to express as you? How do you serve that up? Because to serve that up, we can't shrink.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And I think it's also, I think we as humans have this notion of like, there's going to be the perfect moment, or the, whatever that is. What are we waiting for? Like the moment when they'll see me differently, or the moment when I have that degree, or the moment when I've lost 10 pounds, or the moment when, you fill in the blank. And I think, I think there's something too about integrating that version that we've been taught throughout the years of who we should be, with like the perfect version of ourselves, and like letting go of that, and really like, I think it's so much what you said before. I think it's so connected to your passion, your purpose, and stepping into who you are. Because when I step into who I am, then the outcome is none of my business. I say what is seeking to be said, or coming through.
That's surrender.
Yeah. And the truth is there's, there's nothing coming. There's no perfect moment. That I'm what's coming. You're right. What's coming.
That's right.
And so for us to show up and be that, I think is the thing.
Yeah, I think it is the thing of our time. I think if we've been hiding, now is the time to recognize that pattern and step into a new vibration more than ever. Like, if we want our, I don't know, this might be a bit much for people, but I'm going to say it anyways. If we want our country back, we have to be willing to be the light. And not that our country will ever be what it was, because it's never fully lived up to its promise. But if it's going to live up to its promise, then we as individuals have to live up to the promise of our own life. Not that that's easy. It's hard. It's hard to be seen. It's hard to shine sometimes, but, and it's like muscle memory. It becomes muscle memory once we start doing it as a spiritual practice.
Yes. And so, yes. And I'm just going to say yes. And all of the things we've said, I mean, I think there's so much more to it, and our time is up. And so what we're going to do today, if that's okay with you, is just, we're going to take it out in prayer.
Yes. I was going to ask. That's what I was gonna ask. I'm ready. Let's do it.
I heard. All right,
ready.
everybody. So just take a moment, take a breath, close your eyes if you're comfortable, and just know that right here, right now, that we let go of the shrinking. Whatever that's looked like, whatever that needed to be up until this moment, we just bless it and thank it for keeping us safe, keeping us on target, getting us right here, right now, where we know the truth with a capital T. We know the truth of who we are and whose we are. We know with absolute certainty that whether you call it God or whether you call it spirit or the divine or love, or whether you call it Henry, it doesn't matter. It is God in action. It is love in action. It is the time for all of us to return to that knowingness, to return to that place where we know the truth of who we are, that there is nothing we have to earn or do or perfect, that we have come whole, perfect, and complete to this very moment. So we don't need to ask for permission. When you take that next breath, that is permission from spirit saying, yes, yes, beloved, you are mine, and whom I am. Well, please shine your light, do your thing, light up the world. And we know that as we do that, truly, there is only the truth to be spoken. We are not shrinking. We're not letting go of our country, our family, our religion, whatever it is. There's no letting it go. We're embracing it in a new and different way, just knowing that no matter what, it is love. And so we bless it and we bless it and we bless it. And we know that we are unstoppable. We are unstoppable in this unified force field of love. And so we stand in that. And we just know that it is done, that there is peace, that there is love, that there is infinite possibility flowing in us and through us. And so we just will stand in that and allow it to be. And so it is.
And so it is.
And so you are. And so we are grateful to have had you. If you felt moved at all today and you can donate to New Thought Media Network, that's what keeps this going. That's what keeps all these force fields of light ignited in the world. So please do so. And we'll see you next week.
All right.
All right.
Bye,
everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Come expand your spiritual journey. Join us for Just the Talk. Sundays, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Time. Experience Unity Kitchener and Ottawa. Center for Spiritual Living Midtown. Center for Spiritual Living Denver. Unity of Garden Park. New Thought Philadelphia. The Sunshine Cathedral. Unity of Savannah. And the Om Center for Spiritual Living. Come unleash your spiritual potential with New Thought Media Network.